From the headlines that move us
to the plays on the field and the people making a difference.
It's news, sports, stories, and people that keep our community alive.
This is the Heartbeat of Tampa Bay.
I'm Christopher Ingram.
And I'm Sarina Fazan. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. So, Christopher, someone joining us today, I mean, this cause is so close to my heart, and this gentleman, Craig Ridenhour, has done so much for the military. I mean, you are here on behalf of Stop Soldier Suicide.
Yes. And thank you very much for having me today.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you here. I was most surprised in learning about your background that you never served in the military, yet here you are on the executive leadership team of Stop Soldier Suicide. Tell us why, Craig. What inspired you to do this?
Absolutely. Well, I think everyone in the country is touched by the military in one way, shape, or form. My brother actually was in the Marines, no longer active, but was in the Marines, served a few tours. I have a lot of friends and a lot of other family members that served in the military. And everyone comes back with their own challenges. And several years ago, I decided I wanted to get back into writing checks are great, and they're certainly needed, but I wanted to take an active role in something that I really believed in. And just by chance, it led me to Stop Soldier Suicide, which I've now become more active in. And Stop Soldier Suicide is a national organization out of Raleigh, North Carolina. It's the only national charity that's focused on bringing down the suicide rate among military members. It was formed about 15 years ago. They do wonderful work. The dollars are going where it needs to go, and they're really providing support, both from an emotional standpoint, from a clinical standpoint, but also with special programs to really address the tragedy of suicide among our military members.
What are some of the numbers? I know they're staggering, and we want to get them to zero, but tell us what are some of the numbers of service members, active, retired, that commit suicide because of...
It's one of those things that death by suicide by military members, both active and past, our veterans, it's over 6,000 a year.
Wow. Is that? I mean, it's
over the last 20 years.
Troubling.
You dig into the numbers. By suicide, we've lost more members by suicide over the last 20 years than we had lost in most major conflicts. World War I, the War on Terror, Korean War, Vietnam.
Wow.
If you really put it in perspective like that, it's staggering, and it's a number that we need to address. And how do we address it? We have to address it by getting to the root cause of one, letting veterans and military members know that a service like Stop Soldier Suicide is there. But it's also going out and studying and say, how do we identify this before they get to that moment where they may take their own life by suicide? And I can't say enough for Stop Soldier Suicide. They do a wonderful job.
Well, you probably have more insight than I do because you're so intimately involved in this. But I would imagine that a lot of, first of all, I would guess most of these men, service members, retired or active, are men, I would guess. Is that fair to assume?
It is fair to assume, but the numbers for females are staggering. So, more statistics. If you're active duty military or served in the military at one point in time, you're at a 58% higher likelihood of taking your own life by suicide than a civilian. Men are just over 50%, but women at over 90% clip versus their civilian counterparts.
Wow.
So
that's huge.
So that's a staggering number when you really think about it.
There's a general stigmatism in society about mental health and about suicide. I imagine that within the military community that type of stigmatism is even higher. Are there any specific programs that a group like yours does to try to address those and meet the specific needs about mental health for soldiers when they return or when they retire, and try to let them know that there's help out there?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing is to get the word out there that Stop Soldier Suicide's there, which they do a lot of marketing. A lot of their client acquisition a lot of their dollars go into that because it has to go out. The word has to get out to more and more military members that the service is there. But then what it also has to go into is them being able to make that call, right? And be able to reach out anonymously. And that's the key about this. It's anonymous, because when you're in the military, you're brought up under a certain credo. You're brought up under a certain structure. And suicide is so personal, and it impacts people outside of the military. Everyone's been impacted in some way, shape, or form. And so really when you look at Stop Soldier Suicide, they're not only identifying the root cause, but most importantly, they're being responsive to the people that need it. I mean, on average right now, and again, I haven't seen the most recent statistics, but within 4 minutes of someone reaching out to them, they've got someone reaching back out.
Wow.
Isn't that incredible?
That's really great.
Yeah, I mean, the responsiveness is unbelievable, which is important, the time of need. But also, if you look at what they've actually done and the success that they've had in helping people. They've treated thousands and thousands of clients. They've performed thousands and thousands of hours. But to this point in their 15-year history, they have not lost one of their clients to suicide.
And I
which
want
is
people to
remarkable.
absorb that.
Wow.
They have not lost
That's
one
amazing.
person.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little history of how Stop Soldier Suicide began?
Sure. It actually began with 3 brothers from the military, not actual by blood, but they're brothers. They were in New York City, and they basically started a hotline in 2010 from their apartment because they had been losing, brothers and sisters from the military, and they just addressed it as a need. And so they started a hotline, started out of an apartment, and it's grown into a national organization, making a huge impact, throughout the country. And you can't commend them enough and honor them enough for what they've done. And they saw an issue, they're addressing it, taking an active role still, and it started from literally a hotline by 3 guys who cared.
Do you know what the number is? If you don't, we'll throw it up on the screen anyway, but do you know the number for that suicide hotline for soldiers?
I do not know right off the top of it, but if people go to stopsoldiersuicide.org, it's there.
Okay.
So I would encourage people that are interested in the actual the organization, but also people that maybe need some assistance.
Okay.
The number's right there, but certainly go there and check the resources and check the things that they're doing, because they have some really innovative, data-driven programs to really get to the root cause and really, really start to address this staggering number.
It is really.
So Craig, it is a staggering number, and thank goodness for people like you, and that's why I wanted to circle back to you. Like when, Chris first mentioned too, that you yourself did not serve in the military, but you have several people that you love who have served in the military.
Yes.
But was there one moment, or was there something that you said, I have to get involved? Because you are seriously involved, not just as part of the leadership team, but you're doing other things as well to give back.
Yeah. I honestly think it was probably seeing a little bit through my brother's eyes. Incredibly strong individual, but comes back with things that I could never experience or imagine experiencing. And so that was a driving force on it. And then once I finally got linked up with Stop Soldier Suicide, I originally got linked up they have challenges every month or so, and I got hooked up with a swimming challenge, a June challenge swim. And I started, this was I think June of 22. I had found the organization, looked into them, the dollars were going where they were supposed to be going, but I saw that they were making a difference, and I thought it was just incredibly important. So from that, did pretty well that first June, and raised about $6,000 organically.
Awesome.
And then it sort of grew from there. So now there are a number of events that I've put together. I've got an event coming up on April 18th in conjunction and unison with our partners at the Madeira Beach American Legion, Post 273. This will be our 4th annual intercoastal swim. So basically me and a few swimmers get in and do a kind of a memorial swim over and swim back. It's about a mile. We have great turnout. Last year we raised about $13,500 for
Wow.
it. But it's really grown into something where you're there with veterans and you're hearing them and the impact that this organization and ones like it make. It just continues to drive my passion for it. And it's grown beyond that. Obviously, I've taken more of an active role at the request of Stop Soldier. They're a wonderful group. I love working with them. We've got a big event coming up in May. They're starting to backtrack 1 second if I can. Originally, it started as a community-driven, individual activities, right? Someone like me come in, decide they want to work with the programs. They're now taking more of a corporate role as well. So going out there and going after the larger dollars, which is in support.
Right.
And so we've now started to do these events around the country. There's a couple in New York that have already happened, or the second one's coming up. We've got our second one coming up in Tampa. It's called Bay Area Brave. It's May 21st. It's at the Team House Tampa. And it's going to be a wonderful evening of networking, but hearing a keynote speaker, getting to meet people within the organization and really learn about what a difference they're making. So I think towards the end of this, there may be a QR code that's attached.
Yeah, we will definitely throw that up.
I would encourage people to click on that, learn about it. We'd love to have people participate. We'd love to have people that still may want to sponsor. We have some sponsorships still available. But it's just, at the core of it, it's about learning about the mission, but also taking away from that, maybe there's one person in their life that wasn't aware of the services, that they look and they say, you know what, I'm going to have a tough conversation, and I'm going to let them know that this resource is there. And if one person just reaches out to Stop Soldier Suicide, military member, it's a success.
And I have to say really quickly, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you,
good.
Christopher, but we talk about how when people are so passionate about something, and you're swimming though, like you love to swim, right? So you're a competitive swimmer. So you took that talent, that passion, and folded it in to stop soldier suicide.
Yeah, I did. That was, it was funny. My wife, who you've met, at the event
Lovely,
last year.
beautiful
Yes, I clearly outpunted my coverage.
I heard that.
I'm in sales. But anyway, but regardless, I got into a point, I never wanted to swim competitively necessarily again, because I swam at University of Florida, very, national, things like that. But I said around 22, I said, I think I want to get back in the water, but I want to find a charity. And that's what actually led me, believe it or not, I was on Facebook. The algorithms picked up that I'd stopped on a few of these swims, and then I found the one that was a 25-mile swim for that. I go, this sounds reasonable. And I looked at the organization, most importantly, to find out, okay, where are the dollars going? And I said, this sounds like a good one for me. So that's how I got involved.
Did you do a 25-mile swim?
For the month? Yeah, well, it's broken up.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, wow, man.
Well, I ended up swimming 60 miles that month. I swam
Wow.
every day. And actually now it's kind of morphed into other things. I actually do a swim. I just did the Tampa Bay Frogman swim for the Navy SEAL
couple weeks ago.
Foundation.
Yeah.
And
You
then
probably
I
know my
do-
buddy Dan O'Shea. He was there.
I think I know. For some reason, I know the name. So, well, there were a lot of people in the water
Yeah,
with us. That was
yeah.
great. And then I do another swim for John Hopkins pediatric cancer.
Very cool.
Swim across America. But the passion is, yes, swimming absolutely gets me in the water, keeps me a little healthy. But at the same time, it drives me to be able to do these things because I know at the end of the day, it makes an impact in this organization and for our military members. And you've heard me say it many a time. I don't care which side of the political spectrum you're on. I do not care. At the end of the day, we as Americans owe what we have to our military members and the sacrifices they make. So
Absolutely.
I'm very
100%.
passionate about it.
Absolutely.
We have the American flag right here.
I know.
I'm so passionate about it. There are no proper words of thanks we can ever give the
That-
military.
Agreed. I mean, I think the people, again, you've got them in your family, you've got friends, just thank them for their service because they make sacrifices that we just can't understand.
Well, we thank you so much for being here. Tell us again, what's that website URL?
It is stopsoldiersuicide.org.
We will throw that up on the screen along with the QR code, which leads to.
It leads actually to the Bay Area Brave event that's coming up May 21st. And again, we'd love to have people participate. They can come individually. It's a great networking event. We had a lot of success last year. Obviously, we're raising funds, but at the same time, raising awareness. And there'll be a great keynote speaker, pretty emotional probably. And, it's a great evening.
Cool. Now, I wanted to ask you earlier, real quick, before we close, the Tampa community, the Tampa Bay area, I've been told, has the largest veterans population in the state of Florida, if not in the country. A lot of retired veterans come here. Is the corporate community in the Tampa Bay area involved in supporting Stop Soldier Suicide? I mean, we've got companies with military ties like USAA and Lockheed Martin and others.
Yeah. So they are in some capacity. Some are already involved. We're approaching more. There is a huge military community, obviously, not only in Tampa Bay area, but in Florida, as you said, and Texas. And so what we're trying to do is get out there and talk to them more about what we also find is a lot of them have veterans there, right? And so they want to support it. So this has been kind of organically growing, and now we're getting a little bit more aggressive. We're reaching out to the organizations to let them know, look, maybe you don't want to be a sponsor this year, but maybe you'll take a look at the organization and realize you want to be a part of this in the bigger picture. So yes, absolutely, that's a great question. We definitely want to encourage as many companies and organizations in the area to get involved with Stop Soldier Suicide because they're making an impact. We're making an impact.
Fantastic. What a great mission.
Absolutely.
Craig Ridenhour, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Every story shared,
Adds another heartbeat to Tampa Bay.
from courage to community.
We are so proud to tell the stories that keep our neighborhood strong.
Thanks for watching The Heartbeat of Tampa Bay. Appreciate it.